Hello YouTube, I'm back again with another rant video. I'm going to be talking about this odd couple. Not really odd, but you have this fake Crip who happens to claims to be professional Rawdogger. But this so it's a bit explicit. If I were to explain now, it's basically who does unprotected sex. In my opinion, that's how I look at it. But I'm just gonna get straight to the point because these two people are mainly teenagers, young teenagers. The girl on the left happens to be Kylan, who's 17 years old, and she claims she's 32 weeks pregnant, while the guy on the right happens to be Jason, who's 18 years old, and who that I was talking about was claiming to be that Rawdogger and the fake Crip. And onto getting straight to the point. So they just didn't randomly pop out of nowhere and just decide to talk about their personal life. They were actually on a show called Expected, whatever. Like, so So basically, these couple knew each other. So how they met, she was a party goer, and then he, like I said, he's a Rawdogger, whatever. Oh my God, just gets annoying saying that word. I don't even care, to be honest. But my point is to tell you how it's not just it applies to this couple, but how a lot of these teens try to act all grown and stuff. They think they know what they're doing, but but like what I'm talking about now is very important actually. So what I mean very important is that because I personally feel the reason why they are dedicated in being a relationship with somebody in high school this quick and they get straight to being intimate is simply because they want to look for the opportunity to be in charge. So what I mean in charge is that they feel they want to look for that day where they can separate from their parents. Maybe they're not always comfortable being with their parents, even though the parents are the people that care for them the most and who provide for them the most. It's a one-way ticket of being in charge of their life, so they can be able to roam the world, have fun, uh, have their own love interest who's willing to take care of them. So it's maybe something they both have in common. Maybe it comes to partying, like it comes to like drinking, obviously, um, and whatever sorts of games that these teenagers do, video recording, TikTok, YouTube, like those family couple videos. You understand what I mean, but I feel this is very important what I talk about because they may not end up regretting now, but then they realize they end up regretting later because of the amount of responsibility it takes, how much they're supposed to endure at that age because they're not fully prepared, and they didn't take the proper training, the amount of tasks they must do in order to ensure that they are mature enough to be able to live that kind of lifestyle because it's very difficult because and then this is also an issue too, not just for these couple that I'm talking about, like, but throughout the world because you'll notice a lot of these people end up being degenerates later. Their time, like I even talked about why there are men, even when they get older, why they don't want to be in relationships now. They actually realize it messes them up because they realize the kid basically is what takes up a lot of their energy, takes up a lot of their money because you have to provide child support, especially if the child is being taken care of the woman and they feel that it's necessary for the man to be the only person within that group to work. So that's where all that pressure comes into play, and then the husband or the boyfriend decides to become abusive. They decide to lash out, take it on their kid, take it out on their girlfriend. But it doesn't even if it wasn't the same guy that got her knocked up, it could be a different boyfriend because like the thing with boyfriends, like even if he's not the father, even if so let me just get straight to whether the guy happens to be not the father, sometimes like the person who isn't the father of the child, the reason why they're willing, that's the thing about those fathers that, or the boyfriend. I'm getting mixed up, but I'm gonna make it very clear right now. So the person, even if they didn't get the girl pregnant, like and he's willing to be in a relationship with her even though she has a kid with somebody else. The kid has that instinct that he might eventually abuse him or her. He's not a trustworthy person, because I can guarantee you, because it's the fact that the child is not adjusted to that adult, and clearly is a complete stranger to him or her. And it's true though, and then they have the right to have that instinct, because we all know that we have incident we hear a lot about these incidents where the estranged adult, the estranged boyfriend or girlfriend, they have no problem abusing that kid. They've no problem abusing child, and they're willing to manipulate their spouse or whoever, or the person they're dating, their fiance, to indulge in the act. Because you know why? Because they live in a toxic environment, and they feel that in being in that part of that being part of that toxic environment, that's the only way you can fit in with other people, and that's the best way you can say, like, now I'm straight, I'm really hard now these days. I'm gonna be able to get all these compliments from these dudes, like, I don't need nobody, like, I'm a free man, all free woman, whatever. But I can tell it's funny because, like, so I'm gonna, but besides what I'm talking about, all this mumbo jumbo bullshit, so I'm gonna talk about what Jason was referring to in the video and during expected. So it's funny because if you would pay attention to the signs, his face, he said he didn't realize that she was pregnant afterwards, after they're done having sex. But then he said he in the beginning he didn't want it to happen, but then he realized even when she told him that she was pregnant, he wasn't disappointed. But you'll notice afterwards, in the middle of it, while they're in having a conversation in the interview, is that he has a frown on his face. So that says a lot. He's just trying to say that, so just so that he doesn't frustrate his girlfriend, so that she doesn't become disappointed, she does not react heavily on him, so that he can make it seem like he truly cares. But it's simply, so how should I put it? It's just a simple way for him to be nice towards her. He's simply trying to be nice. But we know the kind of person he is, like, because let me explain something, like, for people who don't have the knowledge I do right now. So imagine the girl's father or boyfriend, they want to meet up with him. They want to have it like a man-to-man conversation. Imagine how he would react with the boyfriend if he realizes he's not the right guy for her. He's not the type of guy that she'd be willing to hang out with with the daughter, with their sister. They're gonna be very overprotective. And I've seen some videos, although even though it's a skit, it's all staged. You'll see that, because in reality, the father and the brothers, you'll know. I will probably recommend the channel, but you'll notice that the fathers and the brothers are very protective over the female relative. Why? Because they've grown up. They even said it themselves that they've grown up with them for the rest of their lives. They've been very close, and it's very hard to detach themselves from that person and have them trust another person that isn't even related. Trust somebody that they just met, and then they realize that they come off as very obnoxious. They try to be ruthless towards you. They don't have the right mindset, the right attitude, and then they try to be a punk towards you because because you're telling them, I don't think you're the right guy. That What kind of work do you do? I hope you're not putting my sister, my daughter in danger. How are you able to provide for the child? And I'm wondering if you really are considerate, if you really even consider the child as well, and are trying to take care of it. Because the biggest concern is that they're also, not only are they worried about the safety of their daughter and sister, they're also worried about the safety of the unborn child too. So they're willing to take care of the child as well, even if even if the child's from somebody else, because they will still consider that child a family member because it's coming from their daughter and sister. But again, And I find, and then I think that, and what I could see that happening in the future, because you do know that he actually does incriminate himself in the video by what, based on what he says. He says like, oh, like in the video that like he had his condom on. Like, not even in the video. So in the video, he tells the people, he tells the person that's interviewing him that he has his condom on, but in the middle of it, he takes it off. So without her consent. So that itself gives the father and the brother a reason to go off on this dude, to not even trust him in the first place, because this is somebody who isn't trustworthy towards, who is willing to betray and turn on their fiance. And that's how I look at it. What will happen if he does meet up with the father or the brother who's related to this girl, whatever. And it's gonna be like the situation I was talking about, where he is not gonna have, he's definitely not gonna have a positive eye for him. It may end up definitely 100% definitely lead to an argument. They're gonna convince the girl, whether it's the daughter or sister, to try to leave and separate from the relationship and try to find a safe haven. And what I mean by safe haven is with the family, because those are the people you trust the most, and they're willing to provide. Especially if when they think about it, he may not have the possible money. He may have, obviously, he definitely doesn't have the right mindset. He's not mature enough. And this is someone that will eventually down the line become selfish at the end of the day. But it all depends if he's willing to mature, if he is willing to improve and take matters into his hands seriously and be a responsible parent, and then realize the life choices that I made. It's hard to like reconsider that these life choices are what are expected when you do become an adult, and then you eventually end up raising a child. Because that at that point you have no choice. It is also mandatory. It's also important that you do, but it all depends if you have the paperwork, if you have the permission to do so, and you feel you are unfit to take care of the child. Then it all depends on the law, and that's how it should work out. Because at the end of the day, because he knows that the law is going to be in her favor, the child support is going to be in her favor, and he's going to be the person that is expected to do the most work. So that's why he's the most aggravated. That's why he'll be the most aggravated, the most frustrated in this situation. But at the end of the day, it depends how things work out for both of them. If they get along perfectly, that's fine. But there will be times where eventually the relationship could end poorly, and that one of them is either going to separate, or one of them may potentially end up getting hurt. And that's why it's best to try to diffuse a situation like this and try to calm down, whether you can pretty much settle the situation, become better people, or you guys, this is not the job for you, and that is best that you guys cut ties. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to check for new upcoming content later in the future. Be sure to check your notifications, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you.